Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. I'm here with the Don, and Don draws stuff. How you doing, Don?
I'm all right, dude. How you doing, brother?
Good. I'm okay. Just letting everybody know, I called the printer today because I haven't heard from them in like 3 days. They're like, "Oh yeah, your comics being printed as we speak. You should have them by the either the end of this week or latest middle of next week." So I'm hoping I can start mailing out comics next Saturday.
Yeah, buddy.
Because I don't get home from work until like 6 o'clock, and then I'm going to be begging and board. So I'll try to beg and board and whatever, everything after work, and then Saturdays just drive down. Boom! Here, get these out. Get these to people. Get these to people. So that should be fun.
The new king of fulfillment.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I haven't done it yet. I'm actually excited to fulfill that. That's fun because if you're into comic books, you like bagging and boarding and sorting, or at least I do. I find it relaxing. So I got to set up my printer. I bought one of those Rollo printers, set up my account with a pirate ship, and then and then we'll go. So one less thing I got to do my next campaign.
There you go.
I look off on this camera. I look like I've been to the dentist. I look like Jaws. I know. This is my second day back at work, and oh my God, am I beat? I am just beat.
Adjustment period. Yeah.
So, how are you doing?
I'm doing, man. Keeping busy. We got a new channel up and running. We got a show going on Saturdays at 7 p.m. now. The Studio. You may or may not have heard of it.
Yeah, 7 p.m. What? Eastern Central Standard?
Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern Time. Okay. Eastern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen you pop up in the chat a few times.
Yeah, I popped up. I showed up your first night. It's just Saturday nights is like the one night a week I don't schedule anything, so my wife and I could do something.
Of course, and that's the day I schedule my show.
Well,
idiot.
It's actually a good night to schedule because there seems to be nobody streaming. You have no competition.
I know, that's what I thought, but there's a lot of people that I've invited to come on the show, and they're like, "Why you schedule at 7 o'clock on Saturday, man? I do stuff with my kids on Saturday, you fool."
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, sorry.
Yeah. For a while, I was doing stuff like just spontaneous stuff on like later Saturday nights, and you get a lot of people. If you start at like 10 o'clock or whatever, you'll get a lot of views.
But yeah, man, I got my crew, man. I got Marcus Killebrew
up
in the house. I got Duck Bacon. I got James Lee. And we've had Bancroft on the show.
Oh, cool.
We've had Sean Aaron pop up on the show.
We're saying all these names. You said Duck Bacon. We said Marcus Kellegrew.
There they are.
Where's Michael Bancroft? He should be watching then. You summoned him.
Bancroft? Come on. Where's James at?
Michael Bancroft has got to be the coolest guy in comics. He's just like super talented, super nice guy. I just found out about Vanessa Danger does like award shows.
I have found out about that as well.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about it. And apparently Michael Bancroft is like in the running for ambassador.
Absolutely. This is his second year.
Absolutely. Nobody else should get it but him. He stays out of all conflicts and just delivers good comics and helps everybody out.
And even when he's mentioned by name on some conflicts, he's just like, I'm gonna lay low. I'm not gonna attribute to the
that's what I aspire to be. I'm not that good. A few times I've bitten the bait, like the bait's dangling.
Yeah.
And I sometimes I'm just like, get out of here, bait. I don't want to deal with it. But every once in a while I nibble at it, and I can't get mad at anybody but myself. Oh,
that's true.
Little bit of accounting. Tomorrow, I don't know what time, but tomorrow is the last day for the Indiegogo campaign for Heroic Tales. I don't know when it's going to shut down. I should know those things, but I don't. So if anybody wants to get the Indiegogo right now on Indiegogo is the only place to get the Mike Gustovich cover. That's on Indiegogo. That's closing tomorrow. And then like I said, I'm going to be fulfilling. So anybody want to jump in at the last minute, you don't have to wait too long to get some comics.
This is the time to get excited, people.
Yeah. I had a little bit of a hiccup because when I got the physical proofs, I said okay on the digital proofs.
Uh-huh.
but it just proves to you that I'm an old timer and I don't pay attention to digital comics because I didn't notice obvious mistakes until it was in my hand. So here are the proofs. I got all the proofs right here.
They look good.
Look at that
Yeah.
cover. The coloring is awesome. But which one's that? Oh, that's the standard cover. Awesome. They put these stickers on it so you could refer to the batch number and everything, so there's no mistakes. At least
They
I
look
hope.
good from this distance.
Yeah, look at that Mike Ustovich cover.
Very
Guys, what was the last time you heard me brag? The answer is probably never. But this comic is good. This comic is good. But I'm embarrassed because I'm going to show you my mistake. There was a couple of typos that I fixed, but this page, it was just egregious. I somehow messed up and sent the wrong file. So this was what I got back from the colorist. And then it went to the letterer. And then I submitted the colorist version to not the letterer's version. You know what I mean? So this page didn't have any dialogue or anything. So I had to pull everything down and go back to the end of the queue.
I'm excited. I'm
Look
excited
how
for
good the coloring is.
I'm excited for this book.
It's so
It's a good time, man. It's a good time.
And you're working with Ron Mosicki, right?
I am who?
Oh, I thought you were working with Ron Mosicki for something.
Nope. Don't know who that is.
But look at this 2-page spread that he did. It is just, well, it's not really a 2-page spread, but the background is a 2-page spread with panels.
Gorgeous.
I just said, he goes, what do you want to do with the credits? I was like, could you put the credits on like a billboard? Kind of like Will Eisner, maybe in the center. And he's like, I got it. That was all the directions I gave him. That is awesome.
Good.
So I'm excited.
So cool, dude. It's very exciting getting your own book out there.
Oh, the chat is thinking of naming the Ambassador Award after. So you get the Bancroft Award. There you go. That's fine. The guy deserves it. I can't think of anybody else. Stan Lee is gone. Mark Millar and Mike Bancroft are like, I think the biggest ambassadors for comics.
I can dig it.
Oh, and Mark's one of the few people that got a copy already, right? Marcus, I sent you a copy because he's been my moderator. So I was just like, Marcus, read this.
Yeah, he's talked to us about it on the show a few times. Everything sounds very promising. No spoilers, nothing like that. But I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. And I tell you, issue 2 is already a third done.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, third done. And so as soon as I'm done fulfilling, I don't know how long fulfilling is going to take. I've never done it before. As soon as I'm done, as soon as I put that last one in the mailbox, I'm going to start building the campaign page for issue 2. So people have already asked me. I don't want to be one of these people that starts a campaign before people get the book. You know what I mean?
Are you worried about fluctuations with postage and everything?
You have to be.
Especially with the holiday season coming up, those prices are going to go up.
Yep.
It's funny you should mention all this. I was listening to Robservations last night, and I'm kind of behind on my episodes. It's the Rob Liefeld podcast. And if you're any kind of fan of comics, I highly, highly recommend listening to the podcast. You don't even got to be a fan of Rob. Just if you're a fan of comics in general, it's
Rob
a great
he's another
podcast.
guy that is super enthusiastic about comics. And it's like talking to a 7-year-old kid, like, oh my God, he's excited about comics, which is refreshing in this day and age because it seems like all the professionals hate comics.
Doesn't it though?
Yeah.
Or they got something negative to say about something, or they want to get on their political high horse, stand on another soapbox. Yeah. But anyway, he was talking about the printing costs of just getting comics printed in like the season, the highly seasonal months like November, December, stuff like that. And it's weird, but I've never been on that end of the business. That never occurred to me about the higher cost of printing, given the like Thanksgiving, Christmas, that kind of stuff. And he said up in Canada they have longer holiday seasons this time of year for Thanksgiving and Christmas, I think he said. So it takes even longer. Like they could submit a book to be printed and shipped, and if they're printed in Canada, they can sit on the shelf for as long as 10 to 15 days before they even go out to it. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So I mean, it's just one more thing you got to think about in the long run. when you're doing your own dealio.
So I got to ask, is Duck Bacon say my comic is beautiful or that you're beautiful, Don? I don't know.
I think he's talking about both of us.
Okay, that's he's a good guy. He probably looks
My
amazing.
dude.
Again, is Don looking amazing or my book looking?
I do not look amazing. Not today, not ever. I've put aside my olive oil. I don't use it anymore. I'm letting my skin.
Duck Bacon. He's making sure that we understand. He's talking about both.
Yes, there it is.
So
right in.
You're doing a cover for somebody?
I'm doing covers for all kinds of people. I did a cover for Vaughn Coleman.
Yeah, I didn't want to announce.
Nova, I believe it's going to be number 2. I did one for Phoenix Press. That's going to be Screecher number 4. I'm doing 2 other covers I can't talk about right now, but they're looking
I didn't know if one was one of them I couldn't talk about. So.
There's a cover out there that I think is live right now. I think it's Rebel Comics, Rebel Press. It's the Rogue, the American Dream cover. It's my variant. And he's going to be having me do another cover for him for the next issue. And I'm doing the rest of the coloring for James's on the Steins on his comic.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's just waiting on me to get it done. I'm getting there. I got like maybe another 12 pages to go. I'm also doing the lettering on it, so that's why it's taking a little bit longer. Plus, man, this season the allergies just kicked my behind, bro. I had been sick almost nonstop, and if I ain't sick, I'm pulling my knee, or I'm just lazy and incompetent. I haven't decided which one yet.
Lazy and incompetent.
I've been sitting either in this chair or that recliner for 3.5 months since the car accident.
It's good to see you without the neck brace on.
And I tell you, man, I started yesterday. There's no light duty in construction, but they put me in the lightest work. Just
throwing nails at people now.
No, I'm. It's called temp light. They have to put up temporary lighting systems,
right,
before everything. So big empty room. So you go up on lifts and you pull the wire and you splice it. It's still hard work, but it's not the guys down below me digging a pit, putting in 4-inch steel pipes, because that's going to be the permanent lighting system. You know what I mean? So usually the guys that are hurt or the older timers go up on. So I think for 2 reasons I'm on the lighting crew. So, but it's just I'm beat.
I can't believe they don't know who you are. You're John's Lawn Box. They give you the yellow construction hat and let you.
That $1.25 gets me a cup of coffee.
Come on now.
My new partner though, we would just bullshit, and it turns out his son's really into comics and he's a comic book artist. So we got all excited. I showed him my comic and he's like, "Oh wow!"
We're everywhere, dude. We're everywhere. We're in places you ain't even thought about.
It's funny. I have 2 brothers that are also electricians. And my older brother, he ran a biker gang and all that stuff. He's a big tough guy and everything. So they were like, my little brother's teasing me. He's like, "Hey John, you should start a nerd club. There's a motorcycle
book biker gang. That would be tight.
You know what I mean?" He's like, "You should start a nerd club. Comic books, Dungeons and Dragons. Just making fun of me." And my older brother goes, "Mike, if John did that, it would be the biggest club. It would be the biggest club. Everybody, like everywhere I go."
You just don't know.
Especially since I started making my own comic, I don't keep quiet about it. So I'm telling everybody, handing out my cards. Everybody's like,
"What I've seen and
what's
from
that?
What you've told me, from the little bit I've seen of your comic, John, and from what you've told me, it's something to be very proud of." I'm proud of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
but everybody's tough. Everybody acts tough, but everybody loves comic books, which is kind of frustrating, because I'm working with guys, tattoos, working out, muscles. They got kids in college. They're worrying about their bills, whatever. These are the toughest guys in the world. They go out drinking after work. They're regular tough guys. And they're like, "Oh wow, I used to Batman. I used to love Batman. Wolverine was the coolest, man. I used to watch that X." But they don't buy comics. None of these people buy comics. Matter of fact, the saddest thing was, I'm not even joking. I must have, since I started doing my comic book, I must have talked to like 300, 400 guys at work just on my job. It's a big job. I'd say about 20 of them go, they still make comic books? How sad is that?
Yeah.
Guys who are interested in it don't even know that you could still buy comic books these days.
When I was in the service, it was the same way. I was like a closet comic book nerd. I had all my stuff in my wall locker, and the guys would see me. I was always the one whenever I was off duty. I got a comic out. It was usually an Image comic or a Wizard magazine, and I got my sketch pad, and I'm doing my thing. And, you know, they would say, like, you know, hey, we bring that kid stuff for, you know, bullshit like that. But times have changed. I think most everyone has some sort of affinity for comics.
Yes.
On some level. It's such a huge part of the culture now, especially now, like with the success of the motion pictures, a lot of the TV shows. It's really opened the doors for guys like you and me, fans aplenty, you know, to just celebrate our nerdom out in public and it really allow us to embrace it in a bigger way. And now with the indie comic scene getting as big as it is, with the crowdfunding, we're making our own books. You got the Twitters and the Instagrams and DeviantArts and Facebook and the social media. All of it in the last 5-10 years has really changed the game.
I
really changed the game.
I'm pretty sure I'm older than you, but when I was a kid, everybody had comics. Like Chuck Dixon calls them the casuals. Like you'd walk in someplace, you pick up a comic. Sometimes, you know, friends would just like, here, you know, trade. You know, so comics would just accumulate at this guy's house or that guy's house. You trade, you read a, you know, so everybody, at least my age, give her, you know, plus or minus 10 years, had a, like you said, an affinity for comic books, you know, and then like it was kind of, you know, at a certain point, like usually when you got into girls or something like that, around 12, 13, 14 years old, you kind of got a little embarrassed by it. But nowadays, you know, it's cool to be a nerd. You know, everybody, like you said, watches the movies. You know, everybody's, oh yeah, the X-Men cartoon. Even if they didn't read the comics, they liked Iron Man and, you know, whatever. So I just find it so frustrating that we can't get comic books. You know, like, I don't know, like Marvel and DC. I try not to dwell on the negative, but like I'm just reading a couple of pages that people put online, and I'm like, this is what they want to put mainstream comics.
I was watching a dude on YouTube last night. I think it's Comic Book Reader 2.0 or something like that. This guy does reviews, like exclusive reviews for mainstream comics, and he was talking about the end of the current run of Spider-Man. Is that Wells' run?
Okay.
Which I don't know. I haven't been reading it because the last time I picked it up, it just sucked balls. I wanted nothing to do with it. And Spider-Man's my dude. I grew up a hardcore Spider-Man. Mama Donna will tell you. Tell Mama Donna.
Everybody.
Oh, yeah.
See, I was the Spider-Man nerd. I had the Spider-Man headband. I had all the action figures, the comics, you name it. I had Spider-Man underoos, bro. The underoos, the pajamas with the little Spider-Man booties and everything.
Yep.
And he was talking about just how bad it was and how it wasn't even worth reading. And
I mean,
yeah, I can believe it because the last time I picked it up, they were trying to introduce some dude to be MJ's boyfriend, and they were in another dimension or some crap like that. And she had kids. Peter was trying to get back with her and everything. What the hell's going on?
It's in another dimension too. That's just weird.
I'm like, what is going on with it? Why is it that the fans want one thing? Everybody wants Peter and MJ together.
Right.
Okay. I mean, this is known. This is not a secret, but they keep pulling them apart. Give the fans what they want. Your numbers will go through the roof. Problem solved.
If I was writing Spider-Man, you know, besides like the bank robberies and Dr. Octopus and stuff, like would be MJ and Peter like rediscover their love. They find out that they've been hoodwinked by the devil or whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean? And they get, you know, it's almost like they start all over again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, do away with that whole brand new day mess. That was
I don't believe in like you saw Misery, right? Did you remember?
Oh yeah.
You remember when she says you got to write a book, you got to bring Misery back, so he just starts writing, and then she goes, No, Misery was in the ground. You put her in a coffin. You buried her. That's where you got to start. You can't change it because it already happened. It's in my memory. I'm that way. So, they got to address the one more day. So I would make it that the whatever they find out about the satanic deal with Mephisto and they change everything, and they kind of get shy, like it's the first date all over again. Like they know that they should be married, but they're not. So like make it like kind of sweet, like they woo each other and they get back and then they get married again. And here's where everybody will get mad at me. To me, Spider-Man, the thing that makes Spider-Man is responsibility and guilt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
no, I couldn't agree with you more on that one.
So and Chuck Dixon always talks about the illusion of change. Mm-hmm. So with Spider-Man, I would have it that they get married. Mary Jane gets pregnant because now like they're catching up. They're getting older. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Mary Jane gets pregnant, but there's problems because of Peter's blood. Peter's got radioactive blood. Listen, bud, he's got radioactive blood.
Yeah.
And just like Sue Richards, she had problems with one of her babies. You know what I mean? They actually had to get Dr. Octopus to help, because he's a specialist in radiation. So they actually get Dr. Octopus. They get Reed Richards and all these people, and they have a rough baby. And it's Mayday from the M2 line, Spider-Girl, and she's a baby. And then after all of that, Aunt May dies happy. She dies happy.
And apparently in the current continuity, she doesn't know that he's Spider-Man now.
Oh,
which is weird because
she gets to hold the grant, and now we have the same weakness. Peter now he's fighting the Green Goblin, but he's got to get the medicine back to the baby. Like the weakness is the responsibility, not So it's the same problems, but the illusion of change. That's what
I was a huge fan of the Straczynski run and back in the early 2000s. That was a really, really good run.
He's a good writer.
And then apparently they did something just to undo all of it. Like I know they undid the marriage, but I didn't know they undid her finding out that he was like Peter was Spider-Man, because that whole storyline, that scene where she comes in. Have you read that? I don't want to spoil anything.
No, I know this. Like they actually like dance, and she's like, "I've always known,"
Yeah, when she finds him,
I'm not stupid.
all beat up in the bed, and he's got that piece of the uniform with him, and she takes the day, she goes out, sits on.
She opens the door quick. I'm not shooting spider webs in here.
Yeah, she puts it together. I mean, that was good writing. Very good character development.
He's a good writer. He did a comic called Rising Stars that I really
back that was for Top Cow back in the day. Yeah.
One thing I liked about that was there was 500 superheroes in this world. Super beings, because most of them were villains. But every time one died, that power redistributed. So everybody else.
That's right.
They slightly got more powerful. And so one of them was a serial killer, killing all the super beings so that they would get more and more powerful. I thought that was such a brilliant idea.
It was a good. I wasn't able to read the whole thing. I'm gonna have to go look for it now because God knows it's been years since I've read it.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good story. Like it started out, one guy was invulnerable, and he was killed. How do you kill an invulnerable guy?
It's pretty hard to do.
They put a bag over his head. He still needed to breathe. I thought that was brilliant. So
I got into comics. I was an only kid, and we lived in Southern Maryland, kind of like in the country. Comics was my everything, dude. I really didn't have a lot of friends in school or anything. I'm not going to say I was a shy kid. I was just, I don't know, kind of off-puttish, I guess, So every Sunday, Dad and I would go to the 7-Eleven. We get the bag of donuts and the Sunday paper. That was kind of a Sunday tradition. And then this is back when comics cost like a quarter, 50 cents. I'd get a handful of comics, take them home. That was my reading, man.
Yeah. Comics
helped me with my vocabulary. It helped me read at a much higher level than most of my other classmates.
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't know. I was with comics for a long time, up until just about right after high school, I would say. And I did a little bit of college. I was going to go into commercial art, but I was young and stupid, and I played around a lot. I didn't take college as seriously as I should have.
Yeah,
So my parents, they kind
I
of gave me an ultimatum. They
I call
said,
it
look,
college A and then college B. College B stuck. College A was just me drinking with friends.
yeah. My mom and dad told me, they said, look, you can either take college seriously,
Yep.
because I was getting a D in art, and they mailed home the interview reports, and dad was like, you are getting a D in art. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, what am I
Clearly, you're not
paying
doing
for?
something. So it was either go take the college seriously or get a job. I was bullheaded, man, as a teenager. Very difficult to get along
You
with.
are.
Thank you. I thought I knew everything, right? As most teenagers do. So I played around. I didn't get the job like I was supposed to. They found out about it, that I wasn't really looking for it. And then one thing led to another. And then I kind of got, as they say, my ass up in the middle of my back. And I'm like, I'll show them. And I joined the military. Just,
What branch?
Well, the first time I went in the Navy. And that was because of not 9/11, but that was because that was back when Iraq invaded Kuwait the first time. It went to Desert Shield, and it went to Desert Storm. And I was over there for that. And then I wasn't the greatest Navy guy ever. All you got to do is show up. Yeah, I hear you. I wasn't the greatest soldier or sailor. I was kind of lax at the whole thing. What they would call a shitbird. I didn't go UA or anything. I was in a bad place mentally. You know what I mean? I really didn't want to be there. So when it come time to re-enlist, and I didn't really get my act together till like towards the end of my enlistment. I was what they call a deck seaman, and that was the thing. Everybody kind of looked down on you for being a deck seaman on the boat. If you were someone like an OS, where we're computers and the air conditioner all day, you were kind of cool. Or even the snipes, the engineers, they were considered cooler. We were called deck apes. We were out there, we were busting our ass, painting the ship when it was underway, doing the watch, all the hard shit that nobody else wants to do. We're doing it, low man on the totem pole. So, come time to re-enlist. And at this time, the first Bush was in office, and they were making cutbacks anyway. So you know how it is. If you're kind of an underperformer, then they don't want to keep you around. So they said, the Navy don't really want you anymore, bro. Go back to Virginia. So I go back to Virginia, and I had no plan, dude. I didn't know what I was going to do. I had no idea what I was going to do. So I ended up getting a part-time job at Food Lion, of all places. And I'm still in my early 20s, right? Next thing I know, this ain't working out. They're calling me all hours of the day, saying, hey, can you come to work for like 40 minutes at a time? Shit like that. It was stupid. So I considered my options. I said, well,
it's funny that you said that, because in high school, I went to McDonald's for a job. I just wanted to work at McDonald's. So I got a job at McDonald's, and they would give me, like, this was the summertime. I'm like, I want to make money. I'm not working just to, I want to work. So they would call me in, and then like after 2 hours, they would send me home. So
yeah, they did that shit to me a lot at Food Lion. Yeah.
After like 4 or 5 days, I said, no, I'm not going home. And like I said, you call me in, I'm here for 8 hours.
I didn't get my
so they sent me home. I said no, and I would go back, and the manager was like, I tried to send him home, and he won't go home. So I said, this is a job. If this is Saturday, and schedule is one thing, but like, you called me in,
yeah,
that means you need me. And if you need me, then I dictate the terms. I'm working 8 hours. Send other people.
I wish I'd have thought like that, but I didn't.
The funny thing about McDonald's is everybody else is like, I'll go home.
Yeah.
Nobody. But
John's over here like, I'll do it. Let me do it.
Yeah.
So next thing I know, long story short, I retook the ASVAB test. I scored much higher this time. I got into a communication school with the Army, did my time in the Army in Korea for a few years. And my goal, now I had a plan this time. I had saved up my money. I utilized the GI Bill. I'm going to go. I got approved. I guess that's what you would say. Approved to go to the Joe Kubert School. I was going to go there when I got out. I had a couple grand saved up. I was ready to go. Plans were made, and then I got into the accident when I got out and that kind of derailed everything.
What accident? This is the first time hearing about it.
Oh, I thought you knew. Okay.
No.
Oh. Yeah, Don, not everybody knows your life, bro. Okay, well, what happened was when you out process from the service and you're going back to civilian life, I don't know if they still do it, but when I was doing it, I out processed at Fort Lewis, Washington, because I was overseas, Washington State. So they gave me an option that I could either fly home on their dime or I could take a bus. And I thought, well, shit, man, I'm never going to get another opportunity to go cross country on a Greyhound bus and have somebody else foot the bill. Let's do that. So I did that. I have no memory of it because what happened was they put there was 2 bus stops near my house. One at a little motel restaurant and one down South Boston, which is about 30, 45 minutes away from here?
45 minutes.
Yeah, about 45 minutes away from here. And it's just a simple typo. And they wouldn't let me off at the Keysville one because orders are orders and bus tickets are bus tickets. And the guy wouldn't stop. There was nobody else was going there anyway. So I go to the one down in South Boston. They get there. It's like 3, 4 in the morning. I find it it's cold as shit. It's like January, you know? And it does get cold in Virginia sometimes. I call mom and I say, hey, you know, I'm here. Can you guys come get me? And she goes, yeah, it's going to take us a little while to get there. I says, that's cool. There's this laundromat. The door's open. I'm going to put my ditty bag and stuff in there. And then I think that it's either BK or Wendy's or something was across the street at the time. I'm going to go over there, try to get a hot cup of something and just get warm. And as I start going over there, the last thing I remember is hearing something behind me. And I turn, and that's all I remember. Now, the police report says that these 2 individuals mugged me, hit me upside the head with a metal pipe, and got my wallet. And, you know, apparently I was chasing after them with a bloodied face. And the guy that was coming down went across the street after these yahoos. Now, again, I'm just going by the police report. I have no memory of this. And the guy hit me with his pickup truck. He was going about 40 miles an hour. Was it 40, 45?
45.
About 45, yeah, because normally it's a green light, and I think he was already betting on that or whatever. I don't know. He hit me. It knocked me out of my shoes, my brand new Nike high tops that I just got that they had to cut me out of. Knocked me back about 40, 50 feet. I flew back. They pronounced me dead on the scene. Then they revived me again. They took me to South Boston Hospital. No, Danville. It was Danville, right?
Halifax.
No? Halifax, right. Halifax Hospital, but I was so jacked up that I needed a trauma unit. And the nearest trauma unit was Duke University Medical Center, which is down in North Carolina, which is, you know, a couple hours drive. But when you go on by helicopter, it's not so bad. They loaded me up in a helicopter, took me down there, and apparently I died another 2 or 3 times on the operating table. And then when they finally got me stable,
So you're a zombie, is what you're telling me.
What's that now?
You're a zombie now, is what you're telling me.
Oh yeah. full fledged. They said that I would. They finally got me stable enough. They put me in ICU in a drug-induced coma.
They flew you down in a helicopter.
Yeah, and they had told my parents that I would never walk again. That I was that messed up with spinal injuries. And I had skull fracture. I was jacked up.
They said if he recovers, the only thing he could do is draw comics. That's how badly he's been damaged.
Yeah. But long story short, I ended up getting in this room when I started getting better. Got out of ICU. They put me apparently in some hospitals they have little plaques on doors, like dedications or whatever. And the room that I had been put in was dedicated to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. It's weird, I know, but they did it. And I didn't really start getting really good and better until he put me in that room. And next thing you know, I'm using a walker. I'm getting around. Dad's on his cane, walking with me on the walker. We're all walking, getting better, getting stronger every day. It took me a couple of years, and I finally got to a place where I was able to go back out in the world again, drive again, because I was having seizures and shit. They won't let you drive for at least a year.
Did they catch the guys that did this?
They never caught them. Never caught those 2 individuals that did that. So it kind of sucked. And, you know, what are you going to do? You just got to move forward, right?
Yeah.
And as life does, things tend to get in the way. You know, I'm just working everyday jobs until it was right when my dad passed away, and he died from cancer. And I was having a hard time getting a job. I got laid off from my job. I used to be a warehouse manager for a communications company in this area, and they were making cutbacks. This was during the recession, you know, and just for shits and giggles, I was online because they had great internet at this work that I was at, and this guy was looking for a comic artist to do these web comics, which was really starting to get big at that time, web comics. And I said, why not? You know, I've been wanting to get back to drawing, want to get, you know, see what I can do. And the nearest thing I could get was like an hour away. And that's not going to do any good because gas is getting super expensive even back then. Well, I sent my submission. It got hired me. It paid peanuts, but it got my foot in the door. And I've basically been doing indie comics, designing characters and stuff like that for people ever since. And my career really didn't start to take off until I joined CG. And it just keeps getting better and better, man. You know, I'm very happy where I'm at. I'm excited. I mean, I haven't been this excited in a long time. And I'm working on my own book, you know, Omega Mission. That's going to be coming out pretty soon. Oh, well, hopefully. I got a lot of work to do. I'm working with some really talented individuals. You know, James Lee, Vaughn. Going to be working with you hopefully one day. Other people, you know, some higher ups taking notice of me. I did something for Aaron Lopresti, the back cover to Wraith of God #1.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah, that was me. And it's just, you know, like I did it as a piece of fan art. And then I tagged him in it on Twitter. And this is like the early days of when I got into CG. And he messaged me back and he said, hey, I like this. And I'll pay you if you let me put it on the back cover of the book. And I'm, yes, definitely,
cool.
yes.
Wraith of God #1.
Yeah, I've been a huge
one of the best
fan.
comics to come out of this indie scene. You know, I've been shouting out Wraith of God, Fiendish, Rock and Roll Ninja are the three comics that are such standouts. So that's great. I didn't realize you did the back cover. I got to go look at it.
Nope, that's all me. 100%. Well, me and Clip Studio. But yeah.
Cool.
So that's kind of my origin story in a nutshell. Sorry it took so long. I kind of got a tangent there. Sorry. But yeah.
I didn't know any of that. Yeah.
Dude, I love drawing. I love making comics. I love working with people that share the same sensibilities as I do when it comes to this stuff. You know, F the drama. Just put that stuff to the side. Let's just make awesome comics, you know? That's what it's about.
I stand at the train in Jamaica, Queens every day, and I talk with this guy. He's built like the Hulk. He's a principal of like a school for troubled kids, you know, and he couldn't ask for a bigger, scarier guy. You know, he goes, nobody gives me trouble, you know. But we talk about, he's a comic book fan, and
nice.
So he was like, I want to buy your comic. And I was like, okay, go to this website. He goes, I ain't going to any websites. He goes, how much is your comic? And I'm like, $10. He goes, here's $10. Give me the comic when it's ready. So I'm like, you know what? I'm on construction. I could be going to another job. He goes, you'll find me. So then I've been injured. I've been out of work for 3.5 months. And I'm like, I don't want this guy to think I've been you know what I mean? So when I went back to work yesterday, I was actively looking for him, and there he is, sitting in the same spot. He goes, hey, what happened? Hey, you know, he goes, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. He didn't know that I missed work. You know what? Because he had a massive heart attack a couple of days later, and he's been out of work.
Oh man.
You know, plus he's a principal, so he had no school all summer. So he didn't even know that I was out of work. I'm like, what is going on? And then I come back to work. One of my buddies, he blew out his back, got spinal surgery. He was out, you know, I'm like, man. You know, we're like the old beat up crew, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ramshackles.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, you just, like I said, you just never know. You just never know. But comics has always been there for me.
Yeah.
You know, I always come back to it.
I love comics. You know, I love that I'm making my own. I can't wait to get this to everybody. You know,
Now, I didn't get into it as bad as some people do. Like some people get just a little too carried away with it. You know what I mean? Well, some of my friends, they would just get back in the day, they would just get a little too deep into, like, I know you had the show about Clobbering Time and stuff like that, and that's fun for a show. But these guys would get like pretty aggressive with each other when it come down to who would win in a stupid comic book fight.
Oh, fighting and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it would get kind of ridiculous. Like,
no, I don't want to fight. It's comic books. It's comic books.
Say the Hawk will win, or I'm gonna whip your ass. Come on, dude.
But it's Clobbering Time. Like I remember when I was a kid. You know, I went to a comic book store. It's called The Incredible Pulp. It was in Baldwin, Long Island.
That's a good title. That's a good name.
And you know, Larry. I joke. I call him Larry. Was my comic pusher, and we would go there. People don't remember, but comic book days was Tuesdays. Then I think it switched to Thursdays, and then it stayed Wednesdays for a long time. But I remember going there for comics, and we would go, and it was like an all-day affair. We would get there, we'd go there after school and hang out till dinner time, buying our comics, discussing comics, talking, because it was like our hangout, you know. And then next thing you know, Wolverine could beat up Batman, and Batman could beat up Wolverine, and Spider-Man could beat up the Hulk, and it was fun. But we never got mad. Like, you know, maybe we got a little like, but it was all like a good fun, and I missed that, you know. And,
well, I mean, some people's passions run a little higher than others.
Yeah, once in a while you get a weird kid that would, but and then later on, I discovered message boards, and we would, you know.
Things can get weird in message boards, dude.
I would say people would get dicky because you know, it's you're removed. You know, you just type into a brown box. You know what I mean? You're not in somebody's face. You know what I mean? So people would get really, really nasty.
Oh, dude, the early days of the internet, I used to go on digital webbing a lot, and when I first started doing my art again, I would scan it at home, take the thumb drive into work because I had access to the internet and computer. I'd upload it there, and, you know, I would browse the forum boards and see the comments that other people would leave on other people's artwork. People can be brutal, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, talking about like the weirdest shit, like not just anatomy not being right. I mean, again, it's comic books. Things are going to be exaggerated. They're supposed to be. That's the whole purpose. But some of the stuff these people would say to each other, it's like, I mean, it pales in comparison to some of the stuff I've seen in streams today. People get behind a screen and a keyboard, and they just lose all sense of decency and integrity, man. I mean, just.
I used to live on those, and I would get hot and bothered, and I was just as bad as everybody else. And then Newsarama came out.
Oh, God, that's taking me back, bro.
Do you remember?
Oh my back God. When comic book resources, CBR used to actually be worth a damn.
Yeah,
before they went on woke.
Banned. I was the bad guy. I was the lone conservative. I was a bad guy. I got banned from and then the outhousers. I'll never forget a couple of the moderators that were just nasty. Rich Johnson was one of them. You know, so I hated Rich Johnson for 25 years. You know, if anybody remembers Newsarama, if you remember it, Food Eater Lad. That was my name on Newsarama. Food. I actually at one point had a Wikipedia page about how evil I was.
What? Wow.
And I didn't make it. Somebody, you know.
Somebody thought that much of you to make a Wikipedia page about how
you know what's funny is I have an IMDb page. I Googled John's Longbox to see if there was anything I should know. You know what I mean? If people are talking bad, and I John Boa, John's Longbox. I'm like, who did that? Is that auto generated? Like, did somebody get paid to do that?
You know more than I do about that kind of stuff.
Me and my wife were like, oh my God, you know. So,
yeah, maybe I should try the studio, see if they got anything going on about our show.
Comic Scene could be a cesspool. Every fan base. You know, I was reading an article about there still are Facebook groups about knitting. So think about it. You're getting gray-haired ladies sitting around knitting, and they devolved into identity politics and people getting banned. You know, nastiness. So, you know, every
Look at Star Wars, man.
Well, I don't know why Star
That can be
Wars.
some cutthroat stuff, though. You know,
Why
especially
Star
there's like
Wars
a clear divide of the first trilogy, and then you got the
There's only one trilogy. Star Wars ended in the 80s. What are you talking
that's
about?
right, and then you got the episodes 1 through 3, the ones that love those, and then you got the ones that love all the new shows. I can't stand any of them. You know, for me, Star Wars ended with Return of the Jedi, and I didn't even like it that much.
I don't know
My
what you're talking
favorite out of all of them is Empire.
Right.
Empire
I don't
is
know what
the
you're talking about.
hundo
There's only
for me.
3 Star Wars movies, and nobody talks
Yeah.
about it since 1986.
But I mean, Star Wars fans can be brutal to one another. And Star Trek's even worse. Now, I'm not a huge Trekkie. I never have been. What's up, Matt Barr? I had a friend. This guy, Roy Haley, I went to school with. He was such a nerd, dude, when it came to Star Trek. He would call himself Montgomery Scott. That's how he used to sign yearbooks and shit. He'd walk around talking like Scotty all the time in school and stuff. I'm like, dude, come on. You're going to get picked on. Just stop it. Yeah, I see you with your phaser. Set the stud. People can get, this is the kind of guy that would greet you literally with the Vulcan hand thing. The, what is it right here? The live long and prosper. He would tell you that. He would tell you that in the hall. Live long and prosper. I'm like, okay. Me and Roy were friends for a long time.
So you're not really into Star Trek? You don't know the original
I know about it. I've seen stuff. I'm more of a new generation, next generation Star Trek. Picard.
Somebody blew my mind this weekend, and I can't stop thinking about it. Do you remember the original Star Trek series when they go on the planet? The name of the episode is called Plato's Stepchildren. It's the episode where Kirk kisses Uhura. You know, these guys in togas.
I know the historic significance of it, the fact that a white guy kissed a black girl on TV, but other than that, I don't know much about it.
Well, they go down to this planet, and the humans on the planet, they have telekinetic abilities, and they can mind control people. And there's a midget who doesn't have any powers, and he's their slave. And when they go there, they force Spock to express emotions. they force Kirk to kiss Uhura, and then Bones McCoy, he figures out they got these things in their blood that give them the telekinetic power. So he synthesizes it, and Kirk and everybody, they got the telekinetic powers. And then we were talking about who would win in a fight, Captain Kirk or a Jedi, and somebody said, well, McCoy just whips up another batch of midichlorians. Just like, and I was like, "Oh my god, that would be a comic I would pay." That's literally what he did, like for real, or even a movie. Gene Roddenberry invented midichlorians before George Lucas.
But could you imagine, like, if that was told correctly? Like
it
would be so cool. It would be money in the bank, dude. Money in the bank.
I'm gonna blow up. I'm gonna make a bad splice at work because I'm thinking about Star Trek and midichlorians.
Yeah.
My foreman told me to do something today, and I'm like, I can't concentrate. I'm thinking about comic books.
If I said something like that at any of my jobs, they would say, well, you're fired. You go home and think about it, okay? Oh, my God, dude. So, okay, aside from all the usual, man, how you been? It's good to see you. It's good to stream with you again.
Yeah, you were one of my first guests, and then you were having problems with the internet for a while.
No longer, bro. No longer. I got the high-speed fiber. Man.
So Duck Bacon says, I used to think Jedis were awesome. The problem with Jedis is you hop on the bus at every stop, there's a Jedi. They're no longer rare and mysterious. Everybody's a Jedi. I joke that there's only 3 Star Wars movies because everything else, even the prequels, were a disappointment. But I kind of like the Rogue One because
Rogue One was good. Yeah,
there was no Jedi in it except for Vader.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
that scene where that scene where he makes his entrance on the ship. Shit, dude. Oh, I got goosebumps when I saw that.
I like that everybody was killed. It was a downer.
Did you see any of the Obi-Wan series?
No. The last Star Wars I saw was the second of the sequels, and I said,
"There's a scene."
I just put that Ghostbusters X.
I'll apologize ahead of time. There's a scene where basically the whole series, Vader is hunting Kenobi, right? For revenge of what happened to him, getting burned up in the lake and all that. There's a scene where he knows Kenobi's on this ship, The ship is taken off. Vader shows up in the cave, and he does what Rey did in the new trilogy. He holds that hand out and he just grabs the ship with his Jedi power, right? And this got me thinking, wow, this is a cool scene, and I like it a lot. Why the hell didn't he ever do that in any of the other movies?
Right. Why didn't they do the general, whatever her name is?
Oh, with Grievous? You talking about Grievous?
The Holdo maneuver. Why don't they just build
Oh,
droids
that? Oh, whatever.
whose
Dude, that
mission
was-
it is to fly ships into Death Stars?
Yeah, whatever.
You know, I don't know. If they say, okay, John, you're gonna write a Star Wars show, I'd be like, okay, I'm fixing Star Wars. This is what
I wouldn't use any of the existing characters.
Well,
I
you
would
would
go
find out
somewhere
that it's
completely
all
new.
been a lie. Luke
Yeah.
Skywalker is Obi-Wan Kenobi's kid. And
The
here's
whole
why.
time they've been working at Walmart.
You know, because you know the scene when, you know, in the second of the sequel of the prequels when what's her name, Queen Amidala is all sexy. She's like, "Oh, my friend's coming to visit. My friends are," you know, think about it. The last time she saw Anakin, he was 6 years old.
Yeah,
But
what's up with that?
Obi-Wan was her age. She was excited to see Obi-Wan. And
Yeah.
then when that slug poisons Princess Amidala, who jumps out the window like a jealous lover? Obi-Wan. Anakin's standing there going,
How come
and
no
then-
one ever?
and then they're fighting
shouted
on the
down
planet.
Madonna, call her a pedo. How come that never happened?
Anakin, you know, they're fighting on the planet, and Anakin says, "You betrayed me." And then who goes and watches the birth of the kid, and then watches his son for 20 years? You know, I would totally reveal that Luke, you're not Vader's kid. You're Obi-Wan's kid. You know, we kind of
Well, I
we
read
kind of blamed you because Jedis are not allowed to have kids, and I didn't want to get kicked out of the order. So you
that
know,
somewhere he has a brother. Obi-Wan has a brother or something like that.
Obi-2.
Look out for Obi-2 and 3. Yeah, something, and they were going to do something with that in the series, and then they decided
Obi-Dos, yeah, because Obi-Wan is Spanish, so he has to be Obi-Dos.
the whole damn thing's a mess. Yeah, it totally ended for me with revenge, man.
So
Return, not revenge.
Yeah, Return of the Jedi is the last Star. You know, like, you know, I'm reading comics from the 80s and 90s, loving them. You know, comics that I missed up the first time around.
Yeah, I'm collecting a lot of my stuff digitally now because I just don't have the room for the
I'm rereading
hardcover.
some old Marvels, and believe it or not, there's some Chuck Dixon Batmans that I just missed that I'm, you know, filling in
dude.
gaps in my collection. So
Is that Jay Lee cover?
no, this is Sam Keith who did the Max.
Oh yes, that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Nice.
you can tell it because Batman's super hairy. You know, so you know, like I quit Marvel and DC in 2015, and I couldn't really articulate why until a couple of days ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. I realized that I love comics, but I love like a continuity. Like I've been
Yeah.
rereading. I read the Silmarillion and I reread the Silmarillion, and now I got the Silmarillion on audiobook, and I listen to it over and over and over again at work because I love this grand fake story, like the Anne Rice books. I love the Queen of the Damned because it was
Yeah.
all fake history and continuity and tied everything together. The Harry Potter books have wonderful continuity. I
Exactly.
realized I'm a fan of continuity, and like you know, when Henry Cavill said, "I like all the little details and everything. I love the lore, and like the Witcher stuff." I was like, "Oh my god, that's what I like." So in Marvel, I liked. Okay, so you know, back in the Avengers, Magneto was watching a visor, watching a visor screen, and he hit a button, and this girl who came on looked like the Scarlet Witch, and he goes, "Oh, Magda, I thought I erased her. You know, the only love," and then he erases the files, and you're like, Magda.
Mhm.
And then a couple of years later in the Avengers, Scarlet Witch says that her mother's name was Magda, but this was
Yeah.
all before they, you know, and then it was like a 3-year story mystery of who was the father, and I loved
Yeah.
all it. Tied it together. And then I used to draw like little lines connecting, like how Quicksilver is related to Scarlet Witch, who's related to Magneto, and Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver married Crystal, and Crystal's
Yep.
this, you know, and draw like these like genealogies of all these I love it all. So then
Yeah,
when
you got into it.
yeah,
Exactly.
and then around
And then
2000,
when they write these newer stories, dude, and then they just undo it all.
Right. They don't care about it. Like,
They don't care about it. They show no respect to the lore or the fan. It's
Right.
basically like they're just slapping you in the face, and like, we don't give a shit about
well,
you.
I don't even know if they're slapping us. They don't even know that they don't know. Like,
Yeah, that's
Ricky
probably the
Hudson
case.
took over the Black Panther.
It's kind of insulting,
right.
which is
and
what
I'm
drove
like,
me away.
so
you
Ricky,
know?
I'm like, so you building up this cool stuff for the Black Panther, but it's contradictory with Jack Kirby wrote. And who are you to interfere with Jack Kirby?
Exactly.
So I quit Marvel. Like, I quit DC because of the New 52. I'm like, if they don't care about their continuity, I'm not going to get into the New 52. How long is that going to last before they reboot it? You know, and what did that last, 2 or 3 years?
There's no continuity anymore.
And then Marvel, like, I'm glad I quit because it seems like 2016 or so they got into the identity politics, and you know, that's when I think they were really like purposely insulting. But before that, I think they just like they hired a Ta-Nehisi Coates. Where is he now? He's not a lifer. He's not into comics. He just wanted another feather in his cap. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know if it was so much him as them. You know, he was on the bestseller list. Marvel was trying to get a lot of bestsellers. They wanted the name, man. They wanted the name, especially for the whole identity politics thing. He was a recognizable name from that era of the social, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, let's throw his name on a Captain America book or a Black Panther book, and just that will bring in the fans that we're looking. We want more numbers. We want newer fans.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. They got to do with, and I know this is like a bad word to say, but they got to do what like Mark Ruwald and Jim Shooter did. Make, you know, be strong with the continuity. Otherwise, each issue doesn't matter.
The point? Yeah, exactly.
But make each issue newbie friendly. And, you know, that's what I'm trying to do with my comic. You know, I only have one issue, so yes, it has to be newbie friendly. But issue number 2, which is being worked on right now, one story is introducing a new character, so yes, that's newbie friendly. And the second story, it you know, it's set in the same world, it has the same continuity, but you don't need to read issue 1 to get issue number 2, the Patriarch story.
Yeah,
you know, but if you read issue number 1 and you read issue number 2, I think maybe you'll pick up a little bit more and a little bit more, you know. So that's the way I think you should do it. Make it newbie friendly, you know.
And whatever
don't throw out the continuity, because that's what makes it fun. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, don't talk down to your readers either, man.
Don't talk down to your readers. You're close, John. Logic Finest always has great comments. What does he say? You're close, John. Marvel and DC writers do know they don't care about the history and lore, so they create what they want. Going back to Marvel Rebirth, Marvel forgot who the characters were. Yes, I agree with you. The new writers.
I don't think it was so much Marvel forgot. I think Disney just didn't know. Disney
I
bought Marvel. They infused the Marvel offices with so many of their people, I believe, and then it just kind of all went to shit.
But the new batch, right? Like I saw. Granted, I saw this out of context, but I saw a panel, and I forget who was commenting, and she was absolutely right. She said, it had Storm, and Storm said, "Yeah, I dated a weatherman once. He broke my heart, so I ruined his career." And it's like, haha, that's funny, Storm. But all you really did was turn Storm into a petty, vindictive woman who uses her powers and abuses her powers.
And that's
like,
the thing. Her character would never do nothing like that.
Right. Was that joke worth it? And plus, who was this guy? Because where was this weatherman that she dated? You invented a whole character, broke up, and you created a relationship. You told us, you didn't show us, which is the worst thing to do in writing. And you made one of the most regal, she's probably the most important Marvel female character, and you made her look petty and bitchy for what? A joke that wasn't even funny? Denny O'Neil would never allow that. Jim Shooter would never allow that. You know what I mean? That just...
Jim Shooter would fire somebody over something like that.
Yeah. These people are social activists. I can't even speak to them masquerading as writers. Miles Morales is Miles Morales. Don't get me started. That's Spider Scam. You know,
I got no problem with Miles Morales being a spider-powered character. Just don't make him Spider-Man.
Correct.
He's not Spider-Man. There is already a Spider-Man. Give him his own damn name, dude. Give him his own costume and let him do his own thing in his own neighborhood. Let him be his own
thing, but he's not Spider-Man. And
no, he's not Spider-Man.
Like I said, Brian Michael Bendis, who is ground zero for as far as identity politics as Marvel's concerned, and he's also very fast and loose with continuity, which drove me crazy. But he just wrote whatever he want. Wolverine does not belong in the Avengers. I'm sorry, Wolverine's not in the Avengers. He's an X-Man. You know, Spider-Man's not an Avenger. But we're gonna make the Avengers of all the cool characters, regardless of the flavor of this universe. You know, Wolverine is a guy whose power is he stabs people. Shouldn't be on the government-sanctioned superhero team. You know what I mean? And
I miss the classic Avengers, man. You get Cap, Hawkeye, Iron Man, Scarlet Witch, Division, Beast would show up every now. Wonder Man. What the hell ever happened to Wonder Man? Now I hear he's going to be. They're making a TV show. It's a black dude.
Yeah, and how much you want to make a bet? They're going to make him a diva Hollywood actor, and they're totally going to forget about the whole guy who was dead for 20 years, came back and was scared to death, didn't realize he was. That to me is what made.
Well, I heard they're making it super meta. They're making it super meta. I'm not even going to watch it. I'm not going to bother.
Oh, but
Wonder Man was one of my favorite characters back in the old days, man. The old Avengers, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Brian Michael Bendis, they were told to make a new Spider-Man in case Steve Ditko estate wins their lawsuit. So they made a new Spider-Man, and then they purposely made Peter Parker jerky to devalue that character, to give it back to the. And then they settled. So this was a character created specifically to screw the creator out of rights.
Yeah.
You know, so this was scam Spider-Man, and all of these liberals are like, "Oh, he's black. You don't like him because I don't like him because he's trying to screw out the guy who created Spider-Man. This is creators' rights issue, but they made him black so that we can't argue with it. It was really, really devious."
I remember the first time I heard about them doing some shit like that. It was Batman and Robin, the movie, and they were going to have one of the Wayans brothers playing Robin. I remember thinking, "What? He's black. He can't be Robin. He's black."
Well, he can't be Dick Grayson. He could be.
They said he was going to be Tim Drake. Tim Drake, and I'm like, no, dude. There's already a Tim Drake. He happens to be Caucasian. You can't do that.
It's funny.
But apparently you can. Apparently you can.
When they announced the new Wonder Man movie, and then they said he was going to be black, I remember the first comment underneath the announcement was, "And here come all the people pretending to be Wonder Man fans for years." I'm like, dude,
no, dude, I always liked Wonder Man.
Dude, I got every appearance of Wonder Man. I got his first appearance, Avengers 9. You know, and
I remember
here come the people defending the decision when they never heard of the character until the announcement.
When he was basically just a regular dude, he's always been an actor. He was in love with Scarlet Witch for years. And then remember, I really thought it was interesting when he disappeared for the longest time, and then he came back. I think it was under Perez and Wade or Bissett, their run or whatever. He was like ionic. He had like
his energy,
the actual superpowers. I thought that was pretty cool, man. I like that whole run. Like that is classic. All those great Iron Man issues, it all tied in together. You could be reading an Iron Man book and Thor would pop up, or Cap would pop up, or he would be working. I mean, dude, I miss that stuff. I just miss the whole friendliness of it. You know, it was so cool.
Logic says, I keep saying that it's never been proven anywhere. That's what Chuck Dixon said. He said he was talking to the people, and he knew that the Marvel editors were saying we need to shore up in case we lose Spider-Man. So
it's all stupid.
I'll take Chuck Dixon's word over it. But they probably, like I said, they okay, Obama's been elected, so let's capitalize on that.
And then they got these other characters who have become public domain. They got like what is it? Winnie the Pooh in a freaking horror movie. And
that's
Steamboat Willie killing people.
I don't want to use anybody's. A lot of these public domain characters, I don't want to use them.
It's dumb.
For the most part, they were forgotten about for a reason. Second off, like Batman wasn't forgotten about, but I don't want to use Batman. I want to make my own. I want to play with my own.
Exactly. Batman's been done already. My dad told me something I'll never ever forget, and it's one of the things that started making me make my own comics and my own characters. I used to be a typical comic book guy, sit around, draw everybody's the X-Men, the Avengers, Spider-Man all the time, right? That's what I did. He comes by there, and he was never into comics. My old man put the World War II planes together. He was big into the Luftwaffe. He very scholarly. He did the fine scale models, all that stuff. He's very good at it. Remind me to DM you some pictures, dude. you will crap when you see the level of detail my dad did. Like he's got this one the dead pilot hanging over the side of the airplane,
That's mine.
and he would actually take a little Dremel drill and drill little bullet holes in the wing. It was so cool. I remember sitting there. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. What was my point? I think I forgot my point. Damn it. My old man brain has quit working.
So let me ask you, you're working on your own comic. What's your own comic, or what's it about?
It's going to be Omega Mission, and it is what happens when now I was doing Omega Mission before, as many of you know, but I was in over my head. I was trying to make it way bigger than it should have been. I'm only one guy. I can only do so much. You know what I mean? I was trying to do too much of a story and too limited of a space. So I've gone back. I've retooled it, and it's just it's going to be a very cool 90s superhero sci-fi action adventure book. I don't want to talk about it too much. I'm still writing the story. I'm still rediscovering my way. But,
did you start the art?
I haven't. I've the character designs at this point. I've been so busy with so many other people's stuff. I really haven't had the time. And being off and on sick, what seems like forever. It's been kind of maddening. I get a little bit better, then I get sick again. Yes.
Can I just divert to this for 1 second?
Yeah,
My case is I don't understand why Miles Morales doesn't have his own unique superhero name. Do you remember in What If they made him Thor, and then
God, yeah.
So here's my solution for Miles Morales. So I'm in charge of Marvel Comics. Don's drawing it, and then I say, okay, Miles Morales' power is his name is Zeitgeist, and what he does is he copies the most popular superhero. So pretty soon he's going to become Wolverine, like he's going to be Deadpool, and he's just copying Deadpool. And then Wolverine becomes more popular. He becomes Wolverine. And then really make it crazy, the Invisible Woman becomes the most popular, and he has invisibility. So that's all he is. That's his unique power, is he copies whoever's the most popular superhero. And you give him his own unique thing, but still be true to the fact that he was Spider-Man for so long. Problem solved. Miles Morales is Zeitgeist. There you go.
Don't they got a Zeitgeist already?
What's that?
Don't they got a Zeitgeist already?
Yeah, and he throws up acid. It's the stupidest thing. That
guy.
It was the Ecstatics. Great art by Mark Allred, but I'm Zeitgeist and I throw up acid. I just thought that was this. You know how Zeitgeist means spirit of the times. How does spirit of the times mean you throw up acid? It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. It doesn't work.
Dum 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 dum.
I've been trying to challenge myself to. I don't know if I'll ever use it, but if I had a character named Zeitgeist, what would he? So you have a character named Spirit of the Times. What would his powers be? Like, it's funny because right now,
time travel.
Right now, he would be a transgender, blue-haired person who doesn't understand what my sex is fluid, and then he would yell at you to stop, and then when you challenged him, he would cry and do nothing.
I had a really cool idea that I still want to do, but I want to do it with CG creators. I want to do an anthology comic, and I want to do it where there's a portal that opens in time, okay? Which means it can open at any time, in any dimension, anywhere. It only opens up for 10 seconds, okay? And any number of things could pass through it, fall through it, anything. And you could go crazy writing a story like that. Like a gun could fall through the portal and into the lap of a caveman. What's he going to do with that? Or, a World War I plane flies through, and next thing you know, it's in the American West back when the frontier days were going on. Or a dinosaur walks through. 10 seconds is a long time when you think about it. And I was going to call it PCP, Polytemporal Concurrent Portal. I still want to do it. I'm not big enough of a name yet where, nobody.
So what is it, like superheroes got a fixed time, or just
No, it's not even a superhero book. It's just so far up into the future, right? They're experimenting with time travel. They accidentally get it together. They open up a portal. It only opens up for 10 seconds, but because
it travels through time, messing things up.
Well, see, that's because it opens in time. It can happen at any time, past, present, or future. And anything in that time could go through it. Anything. Imagine being.
So it opens up here. I'm not going to correct your idea, but
No.
once you put an idea in my head, I start thinking. But I really do like this idea. So these
That's
guys,
what makes you a good collaborator.
So these guys, 200 years in the future, they turn on this particle accelerator. It rips a hole through time, but
Yeah.
that time, that rip exists
In
at
every
the same
time.
point in time.
Yeah.
But the problem is the Earth rotates and the Earth moves. So because of that, like it's over here in Boston when they create it, but because the Earth moves at this particular time, it's by Mars. You know what I mean?
I never thought of that. I
So
like that.
as the Earth rotates and spins and flexes, so sometimes it's in Colorado because whatever. So it exists 10 seconds, but it exists 10 seconds everywhere simultaneously.
Shit, that is good. That made it
I mean,
even better.
Yeah, so there you go.
Dude, we got to do this now.
That's a great
We got
idea.
to do this.
But the
we gotta
problem
do this
is
together.
time travel is not space travel. You know what I mean?
It can be.
It's but I'm saying this thing opens up right here, but the Earth is rotating and moving around. So at different points of time, it's in a different location.
Yeah.
It's in a
But then
different
I
place.
had another idea with
And it's on an
whole planet.
asteroid that has worms on it or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe
Like
he
the
created
whole
a life
planet
on
went
Earth.
through a friggin' time portal. Like, what happens then? That's just crazy.
I've been trying to work on this story for the longest time. It's about a guy. He just discovers time travel. And what does he do? He goes down in his basement and he creates a portal. So it's just like a doorway. And he goes through the doorway and it's 1952. And he just has a wife and a kids and everything. And he just lives in 1952. But then he goes to the doorway back to 2024 to work. And then he goes back, you know what I mean? So, but he lives like this relaxing 50s. But I don't know what to do with it. I just think it would just be like he's watching Jackie Gleason for the first time. Like he knows what stocks to trade. You know what I mean? He knows he's going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but if he did, would he screw up like his own past?
No, because in my rules, if you remember it, it happened. So you can't create a paradox without like ripping himself out of time-space continuity, which in itself fixes paradoxes.
Time travel writing can be very difficult to pull
Right.
off.
Now you got the Ramon song stuck in my head. Which Ramon song?
Only Duck Bacon knows.
Like I have a issue 5 of Heroic Tales involves time travel, but it's a guy who goes all the way back to dinosaur time. I think the problems with time travel is when it's like relatively short. Like, if you go back, if he goes back into time travel times, there's going to be no problems with paradox. Oh, down in the basement. Okay. But I just love the idea of this guy. Like things were better back then. And he's
It's solid.
And he collects old Atlas comics and stuff like that and reads them and then brings them back to 2024 and sells them. You know what I mean?
That'd be good to do.
I
had a weird idea.
He's telling his kids, you can't, in a couple of years, you can't believe how good comics are going to get.
Like, what would happen if everybody was just gone and there was only a limited amount of people on the planet? Like, you wake up one day, people are gone. That's it. They're just gone. You know what I mean? And you're literally the only person left. Of course, you couldn't do it that way because it'd be boring as shit.
I just hope I hope I don't break my glasses because
you come to find out, almost like a Canterbury Tales kind of thing where you start traveling, you come across different people, and it's not everybody's gone, but like 98% of the world's population just vanishes. And the whole mystery is how, I was going to do that with a guy.
Yeah,
years ago, this Ryan McClellan guy.
Is it me and my wife? Like, if everybody in my neighborhood's gone, I could go get all their canned goods and then sit all day read comics. You just described paradise.
Yeah. Well, look, man, I've had a blast chatting with you, man. It's been an awesome stream. I have missed streaming with you.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
So you have no release date for Omega Mission?
I was going to start the signups the beginning of this month. I've gotten behind on things. I need to get caught up. I need to get ahead. So I would rather fall behind and instead of trying to rush everything and the quality of the work suffer. I don't want to.
Yeah, and plus you're doing a lot of commission work, so that's great too.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of stuff. I think it was Chris Bouchard asked me about commissions. I'm getting there, dude. I got a lot of stuff on my plate, but I'm getting there. I'm happy to have the work, but I'm just working. You know what I mean? Every day.
That whip
Every
thing.
day. Yeah. Mama Donna, she's got the whip. She's cracking it. And, you know, we got the show now. I got the show every week, Saturdays at 7. The studio.
Did Mama Donna draw too?
She does not draw. She crochets. That is her artistic talent. That
Oh.
and giving me shit. That is her artistic talent.
That's the best part.
Having a ton of fun watching the show grow every week. We gain new viewers. We go up a little bit, get a couple subscribers all the time. I'm thinking about making it maybe a twice a week thing after maybe 25 shows or whatever. I don't know. Got to talk with the guys about that, you know. And then now that I got internet that works, I'll be uploading more like little videos here and there, just trying to get my brand going, you know. And that way, when I do decide to release the Omega Mission, it's not such a hard struggle to get it out there and get going.
Nowhere to go but
Just,
up.
you know.
It says,
Yeah, nowhere to go but up. I mean, I'm having fun. I'm having fun with everything, and that's what it's about. They say you'll never work a day in your life if you love what you do.
"Oh, I'm working."
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, no, it's hard work, but it's fun. It's so much fun.
A lot of fun.
So
Yeah.
tomorrow at 7:00, I have a conversation with Bat Sauce, and then I'm on RJ's channel, The Fourth Age, at 8:30 for Comic Book Team Up. I don't know who the guest is going to be on that. It's always last minute.
When
And
do
then,
you do this clobbering time, man? Do you have
And
a
then
set date?
Friday at 8:00, it's clobbering time, and that's an open invite show. Anybody's come in, and this week we're going to talk about who would win in a fight, Hawkman or Archangel. Oscar,
I might pop in, bro, if I can
Yeah.
remember. If I'm not
I
too busy.
always put the link in the chat. I star it, so that means everybody can see it. And then,
Yeah, we're doing pencils down this week, Marcus. Yeah, exactly. We're going to be drawing. We started last week. We drew some Nightcrawlers because the challenge had been issued to us by Creative Faye, and Duck Bacon by far won the challenge. I mean, his Nightcrawler was magnificent. Mine sucked. Marcus was awesome, and of course, James's was good to go. And now we had Justin Belmont on the show last week. He was promoting his book, Pencils Down, and we like the way that character looks. He's a big muscular pencil, number 2. So we'll probably be drawing that and just shooting the shit, man. We like to have fun on our show.
Oh, yeah.
We don't take anything very seriously
Not
except
really.
having fun. That's it. And it's a good time, man. I know you're busy with other stuff, but if you ever get a chance, sometimes we run over, you know, zip on by, bro. We'd always love to have you.
Yeah. We went to go see this week. We went to go an early preview of the best pageant ever. It's a Christmas movie that my wife really loves the book, and it was filmed in Winnipeg, where she was from. So, you know, we went on a date night. We have a thing. If I want to see the movie, I buy the tickets, but then she buys the popcorn and the soda. And if she wants to see the movie, she buys the tickets, and I buy the popcorn and so that's what we did.
Nice.
And my movie theater, they got this Bavarian pretzel. It's like $14, and we laugh at how big. Every time we get it, we forget how big this pretzel is, and it's awesome. And we just sit in. I love this movie theater. It's got reclining seats with air conditioning built into the seat.
Nice.
So
Nice.
my wife and I used to go to the movies a lot, but there's nothing worth seeing anymore.
No. Last time I went to see a movie was The Dark Knight Rises or Returns. It was the third of the Nolan Batman movies. It was the last one I went. Huh?
Too many shootings.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of shootings in theaters too these days. And just craziness all around. But when you try to justify the cost of going to a movie and compare it to just waiting for it to show up on streaming, it's way cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. When I'm home, I don't watch TV. If I got time for TV, I read comics. Everybody at work was dying to ask me if I like The Penguin. I'm like, I haven't watched it yet. Everybody's loving it.
It's a good show. I usually work out here till about, what's it, about midnight? 12:30?
Yeah, midnight.
Yeah. And Mom, she's got her chair out here, so we got the internet now, so she's watching stuff. I'm working and listening to everything. And then usually about that, I'll shut down everything I'm doing, and then I'll go, that's my own little time. I'll go back in my room. I'll watch a little bit of crap, get caught up on some YouTube stuff, or some shows that I like to watch, and then back up in the morning and back at it again. Spent a lot of time in front of this Wacom, man. I've had to take a little bit of a break because I'm developing this twitch over my eye. It's not fun. Mom thinks it's stress. It could be. I don't know. I'm just worries me a little bit because eyes. But yeah, just trying to keep busy, trying to get it done, man. Trying to rock and roll. You know how it is.
Yeah. I just avoiding the Penguin because I'm waiting for the episode where they lecture me about gender identity or something.
I don't think they're doing that on it. It's really good, man.
I know, but
The Sopranos. Basically the Sopranos.
Yeah. Like whatever. But
another good show that I've gotten into is Tulsa King.
Yeah, I heard that's good too.
That's very good. It's the best thing I've seen Sylvester Stallone in, aside from the original Rambo. Very good stuff.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go. I gotta go eat my dinner and go to bed.
Yeah, same here, bro.
Yeah, I go to bed at like 9:15 now. It's work. All right, to see everybody. Thanks a lot. Thanks
for having me on, dude.
Yeah, at studio at 7 p.m. Eastern on
Saturdays. Yes. Right. Come on into the chat.
All right. See you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, we're out.